Hi, DelusionDispeller, and this will probably be the conclusion of this Toxic People Do Teach Us Things video series. So, the next person that taught me something was Pastor Penner. He taught me not to be so trusting of people who at first seem to be on the up and up, and don't trust them until a lot of history has been played out and they prove consistent. I really believed that Pastor Penner was a true pastor, had a true pastor's heart, really cared about people. But in the end, I was very hurt by him. And that just taught me that people do change, or maybe they didn't change. Maybe they were always that way and we just don't see it at first. So he taught me not to trust surface things and to really wait it out and observe. Like I always say, be an observer, not an engager right away. Give it time. I mean, I've told you before, narcissists show their true colors after about usually 6 to 9 months. Sometimes it takes some of them longer. Like some of them go a few years before they really let down their mask a little bit so you can see what's on the inside. In this case, it was about 9 months before I finally saw what was going on. It was a popularity game. He wanted Sherry to feel honored and adored because she came in and became the worship leader when they had nobody. So he pretty much went along with anything she said, let her be in charge, etc. Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that you should let the worship leader lead the worship and decide how things go. But he really didn't feel comfortable approaching her about things that needed to be corrected from what I saw. And I really wish at the time when things went awry with her and I, that he would have sat us down and talked to both of us, instead of just coming to me with false accusations that I had said something I never said, and that my husband did too, and just blowing everything out of proportion. We never did have closure in that relationship or that situation, and it's sad to me. But it did teach me to be careful, and it taught me that in my next relationships to really observe and be careful about what I jump into and what I assume about things. Now, there was another pastor, we'll call him Pastor G, and he was a spiritual father to me for a while, and I loved him. I still love him to this day. The him that he was, let's just say that, the shepherd that he was over my life at the time. Unfortunately, sometimes when churches grow, it seems that pastors get a big head or something, or go astray in some way. And this pastor, I believe, lost sight of humility, maybe. And he taught me that some people can change based on changing circumstances. Time changes things, and life goes on, and people change, and things happen, and whatever. And this man at one point was like a father to me, literally a spiritual father. And in the end, we became so estranged from one another and so angry at one another. And then we did finally make peace, and I went back to the church, and it just didn't feel the same anymore. The church had moved to a different building, and some of the people had left, and it was just heartbreaking and disconcerting for me. So I moved on out of there. But yeah, he taught me, well, he taught me a lot. He really did. He taught me that just because I see myself a certain way, other people don't necessarily. He saw me in a light that I didn't see myself in a bad light. He felt that I had wrong motives, and I know that I didn't. But it did tell me that just because I think I don't have wrong motives, that other people might not necessarily agree with that. They might look at me and say, whoa, she's just doing this all wrong, or she's going about it the wrong way. She's trying to get a name for herself or whatever. And I'm not saying they would be right, because that's not true at all. The name I have, I believe God gave me, the DelusionDispeller, back when I had gotten out of the abusive relationship with Anita. And then I decided to get out of my abusive marriage. And did I learn something from that? Yeah, probably don't be so quick to jump into things before you really decide if you can live the next 20 years with that person. we are on speakable terms, and we are kind and pleasant to each other as much as that's possible with a narcissist. But I did learn that you have to be careful when you jump into a relationship, what you're getting into and where their background is, and the way they react to things, and the way they treat your children, and the way they talk to you, and things like that. So yes, I did learn something from the ex-husband as well, the narcissistic ex-husband. So anyway, that just gives you some ideas of what I learned from people. And I did say that Pastor G taught me some other things too. He taught me a lot of things, and I really can't pinpoint all of them. I learned a lot about forgiveness from him, a lot about honesty, trust, doing what you say you're going to do, being consistent, things like that, up until he changed into who he is now, or who he was when I left that place. So, yeah. So anyways, next time you're wondering why you're clinging to this narcissist and you can't let him go, it's because you are only holding on to those good things. You're remembering all the times he kissed you romantically and spent time with you, and you did this to him, this with him, together with him, and whatever. At first, you may need to let go of that good stuff and start remembering the bad things that happened, the abuse that went on. And then as you heal over time, you can look back when you're out fully from the situation. It's okay to look back. But don't beat yourself up if you're still having feelings like you want to be with them and you can't stop answering their calls when they call. That's going to happen for a while. It takes time to heal. So be gentle with yourself and take care of yourself. And thank you for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.